Today's video is all about how to motivate yourself to achieve something that might feel rather difficult. I'd like to introduce you to my absolutely gorgeous daughter Ellie, who's basically done exactly that, found some inner motivation somehow to deal with some quite profound life challenges that she faced. I'm really thankful that Ellie's agreed to share with us all how she could motivate herself to deal with some of these challenges in her life, and perhaps why she didn't when others felt that she should have. So Ellie, can you tell us a little bit about those challenges that you faced?
Okay, so when I was 19, I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression. And the way it impacts me is because I'm very introverted, first and foremost anyway. It really affects my dealings with social situations and other people, particularly when it involves putting myself out there. So one of the main issues that I faced with dealing with my mental illness was finding a job. And this really came to light around the time that I was diagnosed. I'd finished my first year of uni, and it was summer, and I realised that I needed to find a job in order to kind of get to the next step in life. And I found that I couldn't. It was on a very basic level. Even filling out applications was really difficult because of my anxiety.
I remember. So, how did you go about dealing with those difficulties?
So, on a very pragmatic level, first and foremost, it was facing up to it. Mm-hmm. Not to put it too bluntly, but realising that there was a problem, that there was not something wrong with me. I don't like putting it like that, but that there was something not quite right in my kind of outlook on the world and my outlook on myself as well. And then that led me to going to the doctors, and I got medication. And for some people, I know that that's quite a controversial thing, particularly with mental illness, and it doesn't work for everybody. But for me, it really did help. The medication that I'm on, it dealt with all the side effects. So I don't know how familiar you are with anxiety and depression, but I was getting panic attacks. I was becoming very low. It was affecting my mood and how I dealt with other people, and the medication got rid of all of that, and I'm still on it today, and it's had a profound impact on me. And then once I got kind of stable with my medication, it was talking to somebody, and for me that was going to therapy. I did CBT therapy, which is all about kind of breaking everything down into sizable chunks and really understanding where your brain is coming from. One of the really helpful things that my therapist said to me was that anxiety is a natural emotion. It's something that we all feel and we all have inside us, but with anxiety as a mental illness, it's taking it almost too far, and that it's rather than stopping you from doing really dangerous things, it's stopping you from doing anything. And for me, that was more kind of social stuff. I talked to a therapist and did the CBT, and also talked to my family and you guys, and talked everything out with you. And
okay, so how this all sounds really like just step by step, and that's what when it all got to a crescendo, that you then got with that. But we both know it wasn't as simple as that. How did you actually access that inner ability or motivation, whatever you want to call it, to actually make those changes that you were beforehand not able to do?
Well, it took years. I was diagnosed, like I said, when I was 19. I'm 21 now, but it had been going on since way before I was 19. And it's only really this year, particularly this summer, that I've been able to get to a position where, first and foremost, I'm stable in my life. I'm at home again. I'm not moving around from place to place. I lived in places for each year of uni. Talking of uni, I finished uni. I've finished my dissertation and all the work that comes along with that. And I'm comfortable within myself as well. I'm at a point where I understand my mental illness. I understand that it's not something that just goes away. I've kind of talked about medication like it was this magical cure. It's not. It helps with the side effects, but it does make it go away. So I've recognised that. I'm comfortable in myself as a person. I'm comfortable in my introverted nature, but also in that it's not the be all and end all. And then also, it's just for the job situation, it was making it a priority. And I really do think that you have to make whatever you want to do, be it finding a job, be it going to uni, being it weight loss, a priority in your life. And I would say that doesn't go for everything. It's the big things. Something that's going to be life-changing, it has to be a thing that you put first. And it's often yourself. It's putting yourself first. And for that, for me, it was that.
That's interesting. So what was it then that meant that before you were in a place to put yourself first, why didn't you beforehand?
Firstly, it was the fact that my mental illness was clouding my judgment, I would say. I was in a place where there was so much going on in my life with uni and with, being kind of dragged from place to place, and I've never been uncomfortable with myself, but being less comfortable than I am now, which is a weird way of putting it, but that's how I would put it, meant that I just wasn't in a place where I felt like I could take that step, which was already very daunting.
Yeah. Okay. So, I want to just update everyone on where you're at now, and just so they know there's a bit of a happy ending.
There is a happy ending. So I've got a job. I did have 2 jobs. I've now got 1.
That's important to mention, actually.
Yeah.
Talk through the...
Yeah, so once I got to a place where I was stable and I was able to get a job, I kind of almost did too much and threw myself into it, and I got 1 job at Clark's. I don't know if Mum might have mentioned it to some of you, but I got a job at Clark's, which I absolutely love. And at the same time, I got a job working in a pub. And I don't drink, and I'm, like I mentioned, very introverted, so it wasn't really the best for me personally, but I was able, because I'm very comfortable in myself now, I was able to recognise that, and through that life experience, particularly in comparison with the fact that I really love the work I do at Clark, I was able to say to myself, this isn't where I want to be in my life, this isn't what I want to be doing, and it was actually making my anxiety slightly worse. I would say worse than it has been for a good few years. So I recognised that, and I thought no, and I quit, to put it bluntly, which was the right decision. So now I have 1 job, which I really love.
And a very proud mum, as you can imagine. So what are your top tips that you'd like to share with people that maybe will help people to strengthen that motivation to achieve a goal?
So the first and foremost thing that I always say to everybody who talks to me about this is taking it step by step, and be that as simple as minute by minute, or day by day, or week by week, whatever. Breaking it down into bite-sized chunks. So one of the really useful things I learned in my CBT therapy was doing it one kind of goal at a time. So for the job situation, it was just opening the listings. And then if that was too much, closing it, and then the next day opening it again, and then closing it, and opening it again until you felt comfortable with that step. And then it was moving on to opening an application, and then closing it, and then opening it again, and then closing it, and then the next step will be filling it in, and then stopping, and then filling it in again, and stopping. So really breaking it down into sizable chunks you feel like you're able to deal with would be my first tip. Secondly would be get it out of your head. And I feel like this is the writer in me talking when I say this, but I have a tendency, and I think we all do really, to be very much in my head and not really vocalise issues maybe a lot. So be it talking to a diary, writing it down in a diary, or not even a diary, just a sheet of paper, or talking to your family, your friends, an imaginary friend, whatever, just getting it out of your head so that it's not all kind of swirling around in there. And I found that makes it a lot more kind of clear, almost, that either just seeing it in front of you makes you realise some of the damaging things you've been saying to yourself, or if you say it to somebody else, they'll be able to say that's not the right way of dealing with it, or actually here's the avenue that I think I can see that you could take. And it just gives if you're talking to somebody else, another perspective, which I found very useful. And then lastly, and I think most importantly, take responsibility for your own situation. It sounds very simple and easy, but it's one of the hardest lessons that I think anybody can learn in their life, is that if you're not happy with your life, or a part of your life. The only person who can do anything about it is you. You can't be a victim to your circumstance or your sadness or your mental illness or your weight or whatever it is. If you're not happy, change it. And it may sound daunting. It may be daunting taking those first couple of steps. I know it was for me, but nobody else can do it. It has to be you.
Well, I couldn't think of a better note to end on other than a big kiss for my daughter. Mwah. Thanks, Ellie.